Okay, welcome back to part two of our journey down the rabbit hole with Elon Musk and what we all should know about him and what's not really publicly out there. Well, it's out there, but a lot of people aren't bothering to take the time to go and check all of this stuff out because obviously we're just relying on what we see. If we haven't got time, we just don't go and look into these things. But this is where we really have to be careful because these people, they put everything that they're doing out there. It's all right out there in your face. They're so blatant about it. That's how arrogant they are. They don't deny what they're doing. It's just we have people in our society that are denying it for them, but they don't actually deny none of what they're doing. They come out and say it straight. So we're going to go down the Nazi route again and have a look at Elon's connections to that. So while I was going through my rabbit hole of Elon, I stumbled upon some information about a guy called, now let me just get his name correct, so you can go and check it. Wernher von Braun. So he was a Nazi that was taken over to America after the end of the war because he was one of the brilliant scientist minds. He was the person who invented the V2 rocket. He went on to establish NASA. So he was part of the Operation Paperclip, where America took all of the Nazi scientists and all of the great brains, anybody that had any intelligence from the Nazis, they took them to America, gave them American citizenship and immunity from all the crimes that they had committed. Okay, so this guy, Wernher von Braun, is the creator of the V2 rocket, which was what NASA was sending to the moon. Okay, so he was the person behind all of that tech. Well, it just so happens that in 1949, he wrote a book called Project Mars. And in this book, this Mars is inhabited by humans on a colony. So we fly there in a colony. This all takes place in the 1980s in his book. So we fly there and colonize Mars. And it's ruled then by a leader. And guess what this leader's name is? Elon. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this guy in 1949 wrote this book about humans from Earth going to Mars. And I mean, the book, you need to go and download this book. I've just downloaded it and I'm looking through it. I've read quite a few pages of it already. Project Mars. If you Google PDF Project Mars, you can get a free copy of it. Go and read it. And it was originally written in German, but it's been translated into English. The English version's usually got a preface from somebody who's translated it, and they're just giving their like overall opinion of what they find about the book. But the most important pieces are that it's about people going to Mars, colonizing Mars, and then being led by electing. So say they elect this official, Elon. And then guess what happens? He's elected for a 5-year term, but then he decides, no, he's not going now. And he's taking control forever and makes himself King Elon of Mars. Don't you think that's a bit suspect? So, I was going to read you a few little pieces from it. So, this is the publisher's introduction. Mankind's love affair with the planet Mars is certainly not new. It has been recognized that Mars is the planet in our solar system most capable of supporting life. Until the 1970s, the existence of life on Mars remained an open question. We know today that there are no civilizations on Mars, but in 1949, when this story was written, the possibility had not yet been ruled out. In this story by Wernher von Braun, Mars has an underground civilization which is more or less on par with our own. And it's a peaceful civilization, neither bent on conquest nor paranoid about being attacked. In this story of a man's first human mission to Mars, 10 spaceships make the journey, upwards of 1,000 flights into Earth's orbit, and are required to build, supply, and fuel these 10 ships. And it's an international cooperative project. In short, the undertaking is on a scale that would never happen in the real world. We tend to stick our toes in the water first before diving in. Right. So for those of you that don't know, there is already a US Space Force. Okay? Yeah, you heard that right. US Space Force. And it's made up of Britain, Canada, the US, I think there's another country. I can't remember who the other country is, but it's a collaboration, okay? And they've got apparently like 4 ships. And the way that you have to kind of understand this, right, is that you have whistleblowers, okay? So you have a whistleblower. They've tried to say that they've created this Space Force in, I think it was 2021. But there's whistleblowers that have come out and said that this was actually created in 2002, okay? And when they've described how it is, the best way I can describe it to you is that it's like Star Trek, okay? So they have this one ship up there, that's like the mothership, and then they have the explorer ships, like the Enterprise and all of that. They have those ships that are going off to explore the different planets. If you remember the whistleblower from the UK that found these files, he hacked in to the Pentagon and he found these files, and it was for ships, and he cross-referenced them with their naval fleet, and he said these are not personnel. It was personnel, so it was saying like like maybe 200 people on this ship, and he was cross-referencing it all, and he couldn't find these ships. He was looking for naval ships. So then he worked out that no, this was spaceships that they were talking about. Right now, this guy, let me just get his name up so you can go and do a little Google search on him. Just put Gary McKinnon. That was the guy. So Britain did everything they could not to extradite him, but America was fighting tooth and nail because they were like, no, this guy's hacked into our thing and he's exposed all of this stuff. Okay, well, he was saying this, so obviously there is a lot of truth in this. He found the evidence. Okay, he found the evidence, and now these whistleblowers saying that this all started in 2002 makes so much more sense, because Obama signed in an executive order about dividing up space. How are you dividing up space for minerals and mining rights and all of this stuff if you're not up there? How does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. So that means you must be up there already, because you're already dividing up who owns which territory up there. So people got on that then. And that was way back, okay? So we already have the capacity to be up there, okay? Just get that in your heads, because that's what's happening. Why have they got a Space Force if that's not what they're doing? Why are they just now releasing it, If you do your research, you already know that our species is like 300 years more advanced technology-wise than what they tell us, okay? So they're hiding all this tech from us, and they're saying like, oh, we're at this level when we're not. We're so more advanced than they're letting us know. But anyway, bringing this back to Elon, okay? So what I've just described to you there is just to kind of reinforce what I'm saying, because I know what I'm saying sounds a bit crazy, right? And that's what they play on. They play on you sounding crazy. They play on people coming out and saying all of this, and everybody's like, oh, what are you talking about going to space, this is got spaceships up in there, it's Starship, like this thing, right? The Simpsons. You've all seen The Simpsons, yeah? How is it The Simpsons is able to predict all of this stuff before it actually happens? Okay, now if you don't think that there's time travel going on and there's subliminally dropping hints to you through TV and film, okay? So let's just go back to Star Trek for a sec. Star Trek was the first film that depicted phones, depicted people talking on a phone, yeah, a handheld device, and they could see each other. So it was the first like FaceTime phone. That was in the 1960s, okay? When did that tech come out? When did we receive that tech? You know, we're talking like 2000s, okay? So that's just the first thing. You can see then that how that technology was put out to us in a way from the 60s. It was put out to us in a way and it just became accepted in it. And then that's all come to pass now. So you can't really turn around now and start telling people like they're mad when they start coming out with these things, because 9 times out of 10, in the future, everything that person said is going to come out to be true. It's going to come to pass. What they were telling you is going to come to pass. Okay, so going back to the Elon connection. So Elon is wanting to go to the moon, isn't it? Wanting to go to Mars. That's what his whole thing is. He wants to colonize Mars. He wants to take humans to Mars. Now, my thing is this. His family, his granddad, were all way mixed up with the Nazis. They loved them. They idolized them, you know. Technocracy. The way that Mars is run is technocracy. It's a technocracy dictatorship. And the dictator is named Elon. Okay, do you not think that that's a coincidence? Do you think that's a coincidence that in the book, the dictator, the technocracy dictator is called Elon, okay? And the Elon that we have is a technocracy dictator and wants to go to Mars. So what I actually think is going on here is this guy has written this book and released it in 1949. 1949, I think it's either 1949 or 1948 is when Elon Musk's mum was born. Okay, now, if you go down the rabbit hole of the Nazis, you know that Hitler was into euthogenics, okay? Now, euthogenics is when you start manipulating genes to create the ideal person. So Hitler had, we don't hear about these, the forgotten children, okay? The forgotten children are all of these hundreds and hundreds of thousands of babies that Hitler was creating. He was creating them. This was his perfect race that he was creating, okay? And it was all the euthogenics that he was making. So he would get, there was like baby farms, like he would get women that he thought were, you know, the perfect white supremacist woman, what do they call them? Aryan woman, and match her with the perfect man that he thought, and then create this perfect race of beings. What's happened to those people? Where are they now? Where are all those children to in the world now? All of these people that he created and manufactured with all of these. Now, again, a lot of in the world today, a lot of the science behind euthogenics and manipulating genes and all of this stuff and cloning and all of this stems from the Nazis, and this is all stuff that they were working on, and these are all the scientists that America took and gave immunity to. So they just took all that tech and went to America and carried on with it all, okay? So where are those kids to? Where are those kids? How do we know that Elon Musk's mum was not one of those kids? How do we know, seeing as her dad was such a sympathizer in all of this, how do we know that, you know, there wasn't some scientific weird eugenics thing going on there, okay? And then that they've all orchestrated this to plan for Elon to be this person. So what I mean by that is, like, these people, when they do things, it's not just like an overnight thing. These people put in like 100-year plans, 150-year plans of how they're going to do something and maneuver everybody into their different positions so that they can fulfill whatever prophecy it is that they're going to try and fill. And for me, I'm looking like, well, this whole Mars thing, Elon Musk and the book, it's just too coincidental for me. Okay, it's just too coincidental. I think that this is all organized, this is all orchestrated, this has all been a plan. So I mean, I might not have all the pieces correct, as in his mum is a product of that, but I do 100% believe that once that book came out, he was groomed to be that Elon. He was groomed to be that Elon, and that is why he is the person that he is and acts the way he acts. And I think if we ever let him do anything to get to Mars, that is exactly what's going to happen. So I think read that book and see, because I bet that's a blueprint. That's a blueprint for what's going to happen if Elon gets to Mars. And basically, if he's planning on being a dictator out there, what do you think is going to happen here? He's starting here. He's starting here. Okay. Now, just to add some little breadcrumbs in here. Another thing what a lot of people don't know. Silicon Valley is mainly run and been infiltrated by white supremacists from South Africa. They've got all of these billionaires now in Silicon Valley. They're all tech. They're all controlling things, but nobody really knows that. So Silicon Valley could in fact be the rise of the Third Reich. Okay, that's where it could stem from, because you have all of these white supremacist Nazi sympathizers, billionaires from South Africa who are now left there, and they're now in America, and they're in Silicon Valley, where all the tech is created and controlled, and all the partnerships and everything like that. It's all done there. And all of these people they all fund each other. So they fund, when we're thinking that Elon Musk owns all of this, no, he doesn't. They're funding him. Okay? So they're putting in big funds to him. So he goes in as the face, but behind him is all of their money. So these people are controlling the tech. So we're already I think we're already in this technocracy state. Like, they're already bringing this in, right? Like, they're in Silicon Valley. And for us that don't know how Silicon Valley works, like, it's like another little city that we don't know the insides, what's going on there. But I can tell you, if they are there and they are controlling things and they're in control of the tech, they're not doing it for good purposes, okay? They've got an agenda. If all of them are linking up together, so all of these Nazi sympathizers, white supremacists from South Africa are all linked up together, all billionaires, all tech-minded. This is what they're doing. This is what the plan is. They're going to take over the world with their technocracy. Okay? Go and do your research, people. Please, 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 please go and do your research and start looking into this stuff, because in a minute, it's going to be too late. I mean, it could be too late already. Like, you know, I'm going to do some more delving into this Silicon Valley part, and I'm going to update you with that. But going down like the book, what I said, go and have a look into that and just start connecting the dots, okay? Is really not that hard. If anybody's got any more further information that they can provide, or anything like, you know, oh, I heard this part, could you do a little bit of research on that? Because I'm quite good at researching. So yeah, drop the comments below, let me know. Let's go down this rabbit hole and see what else we can find. See you on the next one.